Hello everyone, welcome to VGS Astro. So the video got delayed by a little bit and some of the files on my PC decided to go on strike and got corrupted. I had to redo everything from scratch. Maybe Saturn is already gearing up for its retrograde motion just to add a little extra drama to my life. What a bummer, right? But fear not, because I'm here now with all the latest updates on Saturn retrograde in the Purvabhadrapada nakshatra. So let's dive in and see what fateful shenanigans are in store for us. Purvabhadrapada is Jupiter's nakshatra. Jupiter is about knowledge, both religious and spiritual. Jupiter is about wisdom. Jupiter is growth and expansion. And the nakshatra itself is about transformation. It is about spiritual growth and transcendence because of its ruling deity, Ajayikapada. Now, Saturn has been in this nakshatra for some time now, and Saturn himself is about pain. Saturn is grief, suffering, struggle, hard work, physical labor. And Saturn represents the masses. And in the Purvabhadrapada nakshatra, Saturn becomes emancipated because the nakshatra itself is now breaking the shackles of Saturn's restriction. This brings a lot of freedom in the minds of the masses. This is a time to celebrate freedom, to change in the way a nation perceives and respects its people. The poor will find abundance in their life. The poor will gain wisdom, which means there's probably a big education policy change in the offing for the masses. Maybe a change in the laws, change in the way people are confined to something. Also, because Saturn is aspecting the Leo sign of governance, expect some policy change that liberates the masses in terms of oppressive relationship with employers or authority figures. There could be change in the judicial system that would liberate people. Also, Aquarius is co-ruled by Rahu along with Saturn, and Saturn-Rahu conjunction is nothing short of a Rudra Rupa, meaning the form of Rudra. Ajayikapada, who is the ruling deity of Purvabhadrapada, is a Rudra. This is where Saturn is extremely powerful and can be in a mood to punish people at the same time, reward people in spiritual sciences, like give them a practical knowledge of spiritual sciences, intuitive knowledge. It could give them transcendental knowledge, psychic abilities. A time where many people can be seen to be initiated into mantra sadhana. For those who have already been chanting mantras, this is the time to see fruition of those efforts. People can get a boost in their creative work as well, and this is true for almost all ascendants, but especially for Aries ascendants and Libra ascendants, because Saturn is in the 11th for Aries and 5th for Librans. So there's either a placement or an aspect on the 5th. So in effect, there's going to be prosperity, emancipation, optimism, a positive vibe in the lives of most people. And let's not forget, Jupiter is about corpulence or fatness of body. And Saturn entering Jupiter's nakshatra may bring about a sense of security and stability with regards to food. In a way, this could be a time where everyone gets an equal share in the pie. But most importantly, Saturn will bring about some sort of gain and some sort of obstacles to gains to everyone, being the 11th lord in the natural zodiac order. That means he's giving the gains, but also is the natural Bhadakesh. A very paradoxical situation. Saturn will also bring work in the previous house because he's retrograde. Please bear in mind that whatever prediction that I do now regarding the previous house, supposing Saturn is in the first house retrograde, it will also be looking at the 12th house. But since Saturn has already gone past 25 degrees in Aquarius, the chances of affecting the previous house is a lot less. Nonetheless, I'll be giving you the prediction for the previous house as well, which may not be completely true for some of you people. But I'm giving the benefit of doubt because forewarned is forearmed. So let's begin, guys. Let's begin with Aries ascendants or Aries moon sign. For Aries folks may be cursing themselves for their slow rise in income. You're probably not happy with the way money flows into your life. But do not forget to count your blessings, because Saturn, although may not be giving you faster income, it's still giving you a stable income. It's still giving you something steady and secured. And when Saturn gets into the retrograde motion, you can expect to review your source of income, make amends, strengthen the flow of your income. 11th house is an Upachya house, and Saturn in Aquarius in the Purvabhadrapada nakshatra is now poised to give you a certain degree of financial freedom and also support from your network circle, emancipation from laborious work. So although you may have been aware of a better way of making money, or rather the easier way of earning that income, Saturn, being a very stubborn planet, doesn't like changes, doesn't like any quick changes. But now Saturn is forced to look back and make amends to your cash flow, or the way you're making that money. And the same thing applies to your network circle as well. So you can expect sudden changes in the way money flows into your life and the people that come into your circle of friends. So let's say you've been relying heavily on manually doing some tasks. You will now find a way to correct that. Meaning, you will think of creative ways to generate money. Maybe it's time for you to use artificial intelligence or some new technology or creative ways to decrease your work related to investment. And this is especially true because Saturn now will give some out-of-the-box thinking with regards to investments in long-term established products to ensure that not only you're making easy decisions while switching your funds, but also ensure the safety and security of your money. Disciplined approach towards investments, sustained investments. And Saturn retrograde 11th will also bring some obstacles in the flow of your income. 11th is natural Badhakesh, so don't expect easy returns. It's going to take time and you need to give it that time. But this may be a wonderful opportunity for you to start with something new. Carve new path towards financial freedom. That's what Purvabhadrapada is all about. And retrograde is reviewing your initial journey. So the initial phase will make you sweat and work really, really hard. And sometimes at the cost of your health. And that's the most important factor, right? That's the most important factor that you need to consider in your pursuit towards financial freedom. Is it really worth sacrificing your health and break that sweat in making that money? In all likelihood, you will probably say, what's 4 more hours of work? Or what's 5 more hours of work? It's nothing compared to the money you're making, right? Saturn tends to speak this way because Saturn is a workaholic. And retrograde motion and looking at the 10th will always give you lots and lots of work. That becomes your karma at the moment. You're trying to free yourself from work, but ending up working harder and doing all the tasks by yourself to see some relief in that area. This may also be a time where you want to free yourself from your bosses, because you're probably frustrated with the way you're being bossed around. And you might even end up starting your own enterprise, because that way you can be your own boss, right? While for some other Aries folks, you may in fact get the necessary freedom from your bosses. They may in fact give you autonomy at work and less supervision. Excellent time for those involved in research work, because Rahu is in the 12th and he is innovation and research, which is mostly confined to doing things alone. No supervision. Some of you may be transitioning to a new role at your workplace. You may have been a mid-level manager and now you suddenly find yourself 1 or 2 levels above, and your responsibility may have increased, so there's more work for you in learning that work and managing your new work. But at the same time, you're no more required to do the basic work, which is more laborious, and that now provides you more time to focus on other things. Saturn's retrograde aspect on your 5th house will give you a certain degree of freedom in your creative work, in your child's life, in parenting, and you're going to give a second thought on your investments and how you can get the best out of them. Saturn aspecting the fifth will also now give you some kind of mantra sadhana, or at least initiate you in spiritual sciences. That will be your focus during this transit. Some of you will see fruition of the sadhana that you've been into already, but for most people it will be the rekindling of the fire of achievement, which means your sadhana is going to become more intense. It's going to reach its peak in the coming years. Retrograde always is about finishing what you've started or taking care of what you've missed. So fifth house related matters are going to see the beginning of some life altering improvements. Saturn's third aspect will make you work twice as hard to get yourself in shape, to see a transformation in your appearance, and that's going to get intense at this time. Severe diet, severe exercise routine, or painful ways of shedding weight or gaining muscle can all be linked to Saturn in the Purvabhadrapada. Saturn has been in this nakshatra for some time now, and he's now going to make you rethink if the routine you've been following is good or needs to be changed and made less severe, or restart with a different strategy. But whatever you do, Aries, don't do anything that will tear your muscle. Find a way to relax, and nobody can really teach you that. You have to find out how you can relax. You can soak in cold water or find relief through ice packs for any inflammation of your muscles, which will help you to recover very quickly at this time. But if you've been going through a muscle tear or something bad, then all I can say is get the necessary rest at this time. Also, eating green leafy vegetables and calcium-rich foods will go a long way in bringing permanent strength to your bones, because Saturn is in his Mool Trikona sign. So all in all, intensity and measured work will be the punchline for Aries folks at this time. So stay fit, stay healthy. If you're new to my channel, please subscribe below. Help this video reach out to as many people as possible. Give it a thumbs up and also leave a comment if this prediction works for you. Next up, we have Taurus Ascendants or Taurus Moon sign. For Taurus individuals, Saturn retrograde in the 10th house will prompt you to reconsider your work strategy. This transit also signifies an increase in responsibilities, both professionally and personally. You might feel that your work has not received the recognition it deserves, and you believe you should get more acknowledgement. This is a time to reflect on missed opportunities and seek necessary support from your network to restore your professional glory. Expect to receive recognition for a job well done now, possibly even a promotion or a new role at a different workplace. While you may face more learning tasks, there will be less tedious labor involved, which means you may get promoted as a manager. And this period signifies freedom and success for many Taurus individuals, especially since Saturn is your yoga karaka. Initial obstacles may arise in gaining fame and recognition due to Saturn's challenging influence as the Badhakesh, but success will eventually come. This is a time when you need to balance many responsibilities at once. You have duties as a good son or daughter, especially towards your father, but also your mother. And you have parenting responsibilities towards your children. However, something will shift your entire focus to your work life. Saturn will prompt you to reconsider your work-life balance strategy. You may have been hard on yourself taking on extra work to save money, but now Saturn will make you question whether this physical labor is truly worth the money being saved. So Saturn will make you choose between your domestic life and your work life, and may even push you out of your comfort zone, because he's aspecting the 9th house of Dharma, and you probably feel that you're not doing justice to your career or your domestic life by staying where you are. Remember, Saturn is an arbiter of justice. Even though he's aspecting the 9th house, Even though you may think that Saturn is a malefic and aspecting the ninth house means loss of dharma, it really is not the case. So what does this mean? It means that you may find a way to move to a different place far away from your office, which will now bring about a certain degree of mental peace and freedom. For some of you, it's the end of the work from home era, and you can now focus more on your work life while leaving your domestic chores to be handled by a servant, leaving your kids at a creche and appointing a nurse to look after your parents. While that gives you some freedom from your domestic life, Saturn's Vakra Drishti on the ninth house of higher knowledge will bring an inclination to higher studies or finish that pending subject to finally earn that degree. You'll be dedicated to your education, finding ways to study despite challenges. But always remember that Saturn represents struggle, so you might not have the most conducive environment for your studies. You may find yourself studying during odd times, such as while commuting or during lunch breaks. So expect significant changes in your commute and career life. Also, look out for overspending at this time, as Saturn in Purvabhadrapada nakshatra is going to make you conscious about your spending habits. So find a way to stop overthinking as well about possibly impending disasters at this time. Overall, you're poised to gain a new set of friends at work, which will keep you busy and active. So mostly a new beginning for Taurus folks during this transit and also going forward. If you're new to my channel, please subscribe below. Help this video reach out to as many people as possible. Give it a thumbs up and also leave a comment if this prediction came true for you. Next up, we have Gemini Ascendants or Gemini Moon sign. For Gemini individuals, Saturn is in the ninth house and retrograde in the Purvabhadrapada nakshatra, prompting you to reevaluate your father's health or your relationship with him. Some of you may have seen your father's health deteriorate over the past year and it may have worsened now. Others might feel they have received stepfatherly treatment with priority given to your siblings, causing mental distress. Now's a chance for your father to make amends. He is now being given a second chance. There may be challenging times ahead for your father, and although your relationship has not been all that great with your father, you may now want to find practical solutions to take care of him, providing relief for both him and yourself. You will take the initiative to address ninth house matters objectively, whether it's your father, your religious beliefs, or your education. Purva Bhadrapada Nakshatra is a very intense nakshatra. You may have been very harsh on your father, very harsh on your own self, preparing for that examination or that test that you need to pass. And now Saturn here wants you to reevaluate some of those areas. He wants you to rethink on your strategy in taking care of your father, in preparing for that exam, and finding a practical solution that will not only give you more time in your hands, but also save you or your father from any guilt or depression that they've been going through. So more strength to your father, more strength to you. Your domestic life is now going through a lot of changes. Practical solution and solutions based on religion or metaphysics to bring positive vibes and relief connected to the ninth house is also on the cards. Maybe you will begin a new journey in life. Visiting of holy places is now a possibility for some of you Gemini folks. But en route, you definitely need to watch out for any accidents or untoward incidents. So ensure that you remain alert and not move too fast or too slow. Saturn will also change your worldview. It's possible that it is the beginning of a new journey in spirituality and it's going to get really intense. Saturn, although makes you fortunate, he will show the limitation of that fortune. Since Saturn owns the 8th house and also the ninth house, Gemini folks are rather more than willing to accept the end of something, or should I say the end of good times. They know the practical side of life's blessings if they're matured enough. So when the time comes to say goodbye, they're ready to accept that. If you're not in a position to accept, Saturn will make you strong-willed to accept it. You may go through therapy, but you will come to accept that position. Saturn is grief, Saturn is suffering, and that's how Saturn actually teaches people. He teaches you to overcome your emotions, not just to ignore it. So you will feel the pain, you will feel the struggle, and then you will have to overcome them in order to become stronger. So a lot of efforts going into your 8th house related matters. One is having forethought towards death related issues, taking care of things like inheritance. Remember, Purvabhadrapada nakshatra also represents mukti, liberation, and Saturn is preparing you for that. So drafting of a will is possible at this time. It could be your will or your parents' or grandparents' will. So basically, you're doing everything to strengthen your fortune or your future and also that of your lineage, and you're going to be busy in getting these things done. It doesn't mean that you're going to die. Please do not come to that kind of a conclusion. It's only that you're securing the future of your lineage. That's all you're doing now. Nobody can really predict death. Okay, so don't worry about it. Second thing is that you're going to find ways to bring good luck, fortune, and a way to provide some relief to your in-laws through metaphysical solutions. You may even pique their curiosity in astrology or any of the connected sciences, and also bring about a dharmic disposition while going through tough situations, which means doing the right thing, whether that brings comfort to your in-laws or otherwise. Since Saturn is your 8th and 9th lord, retrograde in Purvabhadrapada and aspecting the 11th house, expect hurdles in your social network. You may see some old circle of friends moving away and some new ones moving close to you. You don't know what to make of it. You want those old friendships to last, but you're pushing yourself too hard in making this relationship work for you. You need to relax and let go when you need to let go. This is also a time to reevaluate your relationship with your elder sibling. They may be going through some difficult times now with regards to their self and their children. And the best way to calm them down is to talk to them in a way that will not offend them. So make sure of this, or that will be one more thing that you will end up worrying about. Alrighty, that's all I've got for Geminis. If you're new to my channel, please subscribe below. Help this video to reach out as many people as possible. Give it a thumbs up and also leave a comment if this prediction came true for you. Next up, we have Moon Children. For Moon Children, Saturn in the 8th house is a very strong placement for increasing your longevity, because Saturn is the Karaka for longevity, and you've been taking steps with regards to gaining good health. Maybe you've been cutting down on red meat or fattening food or anything at all that puts you in a very strong position. So gain in longevity, gain in reproductive health, reproductive strength, almost transformative, would have been the theme for some time now. But the fact of the matter is that some of those steps may have been very harsh. If Saturn is 8 from your ascendant, for Saturn 8 from your moon sign, things would have been extremely stressful. Even the ordinary situation in life would have created fear in your mind. Fear of death, fear of getting old, fearful dreams, fearful intuition, or should I say premonition, or all possible for both ascendants and the moon sign. All of this would have put you out of whack. You try to make sense of these things. Some of those equations did not add up, and you were probably left wondering what is going on. I'll tell you what is going on. Saturn in this position, being in the Purvabhadrapada nakshatra, has given you an access to all the secrets and the mysteries. It's like a sneak peek to the hidden element of life. They've come to you from the nakshatra devata, from the deity himself, to put your belief system in a stronghold, not really to confuse you. You're a believer now in mysticism, in a higher truth or higher power. You've been trying to unlock some of those secrets, trying to find a reasonable answer to all that's been happening around you and how it's been centered around you. Despite your best efforts, you've made slow progress in this area of life because Saturn is ultimately about limitations, closing those walls, and this has made you feel like, hey, this is as far as I can go with eighth house related matters. Whether it is occult or finding the secret stash of money, it's showed you the limitation. But now when Saturn goes retrograde in the Purvabhadrapada nakshatra, this is going to be a powerful time for you. Saturn is now telling you that, you know what, you may have missed out on something, but why not find this out from some other people? Because it's looking at the seventh house through its Vakra drishtis. So, excellent time if you set forward to seek the advice of other people to help you in decoding the mysteries of your life. And I can assure you that you will find reasonable answers to your queries, putting the questioning mind to rest. As far as business partnership goes, people will now be more cooperative to your line of thinking and your arguments. You're now able to push that proposal for a business deal. You're working super hard to keep your partnerships alive and active. It's putting a lot of stress and strain on them, but you know what's at stake and therefore want to keep things alive and going. And some of them are going to call it quits, and you will find new ones moving into your circle of partnership. And it's going to definitely be transformative. And all of this is going to happen very quickly and in a very sudden manner. For some, this may be an opportunity for business deals, new partnerships, renewal of old partnerships, and so on. On the marriage front, you might be transitioning to a new role from being single to having a boyfriend girlfriend, or from girlfriend boyfriend to wife or husband, or take on new parenting responsibilities. And the fact of the matter is that much of seventh house related matters will now find some relief. Spouse will be very cooperative and help you with domestic responsibilities, which will take much of your burden away and bring joy and happiness within the family. This will also go a long way in securing the bonds of your marriage. Love and romance will also take front seat during this transit. New roles mean more responsibility for the both of you. And also Saturn's aspect on the second house indicates for everyone in the family. So there's more work coming your way in terms of behavioral changes or changes that your family needs to bring to itself to adapt to the new situation. Unexpected events will force you to adapt and bring the necessary changes in your life. But as always, the negative side of eighth lord looking at the seventh house can also indicate breaking of deals, whether that's personal or business. For those who have filed for a divorce, paying of alimony or some kind of settlement at this time may be inevitable, but expect an end to a long ordeal and finally getting to say goodbye. But it's not the end of your life. Saturn will now put you on track to begin something new and learn from your past mistakes and open the doors to new relationships and new partnerships. Saturn, looking at the 10th house through his retrograde motion, is now asking you to relax and take a break in your career life. He's telling that relentless pursuit is not only burning up more energy, but also can be tough on yourself. But there's definite changes coming your way in terms of career life. Some of it can be very negative, and you need to brace up for the storm that's headed your way. Try to find a way to relax despite the pressure, lest it takes a toll on your health. The main focus, however, with regards to this transit will be with regards to your children, which you need to prioritize over everything else. Alrighty, that's all I've got for moon children. If you're new to my channel, please subscribe below. Share this video with your friends and family. Give it a thumbs up and also leave a comment if this prediction came through for you. Next up we have Leo Ascendants, Leo Moon sign. For Leo folks, Saturn goes retrograde in the Purvabhadrapada nakshatra, in the Aquarius sign in the 7th house. 7th is your marital house. 7th is business partnerships. and 7th is also closing the deal through legal contracts. Saturn retrograde here indicates there's going to be gain in your partnerships, new business deals, new opportunities, and new connections coming your way, and you're going to be extremely thrilled by all that jazz. Also, on the marriage front, if you're single, you could possibly take the call to marry your longtime friend or partner, as you're both more matured enough to move to the next level in your relationship. Or this could also indicate letting go of a strained relationship. Whatever it is, Saturn will make you reevaluate your partnership and try to make amends where possible, or ask you to let go, and this is most likely to be a permanent effect for some of you Leo folks. For single Leos, you might find yourself interested in finding yourself a matured partner, and you're going to gain a lot of wisdom or first-hand information about how relationship works and what makes them tick. So it's going to be a very informative journey in knowing other people outside of your own world. Retrograde Saturn in the Purvabhadrapada nakshatra, aspecting the 6th house of death, diseases, and enemies, will bring some relief in these areas because the nakshatra itself is about intense burning of these karma. Newfound information will help you manage your health in a more relaxed and able manner. It's also going to give you a better hold on your business if you're self-employed, or your day-to-day affairs wherever you're working, and it's going to give you new responsibilities in managing the affairs of your work. But you will learn to delegate that work, to delegate the finer details of the work to someone in the organization. And therefore, that will give you more time to reevaluate your strategies in managing that business or the work that's been assigned to you. All I can say is try not to micromanage things at this time, because Saturn tends to do that, and that's only going to be more stressful for yourself and people working under you, ultimately becoming counterproductive for you. So do not micromanage. Saturn's 7th aspect on your ascendant or moon sign and going retrograde will bring some relief to yourself and new information to tackle old problems that has confounded you and left you unresponsive to take any decision. But don't worry, retrograde Saturn is here to help you in finally bringing closure to whatever problems you've been facing. But the most important part that you will notice at this time is that your ego is becoming more mellow, more humble, and practical. You no longer have a sense of I, me, myself kind of outlook on life. Saturn's liberating your ego consciousness. And if it rears its haughty head, be ready to face some severe consequences. Saturn's been in this nakshatra for some time now, and he may have already brought about severe diet and exercise routine to yourself or your spouse at this time. And by normal standards, this could be thought of as a bit too extreme. However, Saturn retrograde is now here to make corrections, and he will now help you reevaluate your dietary changes or your physical fitness and make it more or less intense depending on your progress. For Leo moon sign, the stress may have been overwhelming, but you will now see relief to your mental stress and agitation. Saturn's retrograde aspect on the 9th house will bring some peace and rest to your father and your higher education as well. Maybe you're going to take a break from your sabbatical. You may not be able to find enough time to dedicate for your education. So education is probably going to take a back seat during this time. And it's okay. You need to be patient and let go when you have to let go. Okay? Make sure that your father is able to give himself the much needed rest, because any ailment now will need rest despite his inclination to be more active and work and toil. So Leo folks, be advised to pass on the information to your father. Saturn's 10th aspect on your 4th house may bring about some challenging times to your mother, which needs to be addressed by you and on priority. but nothing to worry about. She's going to recover from whatever has been ailing her, but you need to definitely keep a watchful eye on her health. So do check out her Dasha and Bhukti to make complete sense of what's happening in her life. And that's all I've got for Leo, folks. If you're new to my channel, please subscribe below, share this video with your friends and family, and also give it a thumbs up, leave a comment, and let's move on to the next sign. Next up, we have Virgo Ascendants or Virgo Moon sign. For Virgo folks, Saturn being the sixth lord in the sixth will give you more strength and almost make you feel like you're at the top of the game. You love tackling challenging situations, solving problems, breaking boulders to get where you want to go. But now Saturn retrograde in the Purvabhadrapada nakshatra in the sixth house will bring your attention back to your health. And just when you thought that you're in the pink of health, you will discover that things have not been all that great. So the focus will now shift back to your ailments, back to whatever has been keeping you restricted. And guess what? That old ailment or debt you swept under the rug, hoping that it's going to go away, now it's decided it's time for a reunion tour. And it's brought friends. Ignoring debt or disease is like feeding gremlins after midnight. It only leads to a fully blown chaos fest. Debts are not like our bank savings, guys. They don't just chill and grow quietly. They throw wild parties and invite all their debt buddies to crash at your place. Such a bad idea, but nothing to worry about because Saturn being the fifth lord is going to bring a bag full of fun ways to correct those past mistakes. You will get to kick back and pinpoint those pesky problem areas and start fixing things up. Plus, with Saturn retrograde in the Purvabhadrapada nakshatra, you can look forward to a serious cutback on those ailments and debts. It's like getting a universal get out of jail free card. As regards competing for a corporate or a government position, you may actually see a slowdown in your efforts. You may not be able to give your 100%, and that's going to give you some mental stress. Saturn's retrograde aspect on the 5th will also bring your attention to your children. This will be an area which will actually be a lot more challenging during the coming months. But the good thing is that you're also simultaneously going to see some relief in childcare. Maybe it's because children are moving away or getting busy with their own lives, with their own set of friends. But you're still going to have to work on your children because it's possible that they're transitioning to a new role and moving to a new place. Maybe it's school time or moving to college or university or transitioning to married life. And that change demands your attention. Okay? And those trying to conceive, try and avoid this time because this could actually cause problems in childbearing. However, if you've already conceived, pay more attention to your fetus. Do not worry because Jupiter's aspect on the 5th will see you through this. Also, your love life will see some jolt from the blue, especially if you're going through Saturn return and Saturn goes retrograde in the Purvabhadrapada nakshatra, where you will now have to reevaluate on how to connect with a certain relationship, as you will see difficulties in traveling and meeting with your partner, especially if this relationship is long distance relationship. Why? Because Saturn aspects the 12th house. So you will see challenging times because you may not be in a position to dedicate enough time to your partner. It will start draining your energy. Maybe even start making you rethink how you can rekindle the passion for each other. I'm not saying that the relationship is going to break. I'm only cautioning. I'm only saying that you are going to see the reality of what it means to be in a relationship and what you can expect from this. Also, 6th house is about litigation. So any pending litigation may come to an end, or you steer the litigation in a certain way that will bring a closure to the drama, and quite possible that this happens during Saturn retrograde itself. So a lot of action in the lives of Virgo folks, but also a time to gain knowledge both in the 6th and 5th house related matters. These challenges will ultimately help you gain experience that will make you a lot more wiser and stronger. That's all I've got for Virgos. If you're new to my channel, please subscribe below. Help this video reach out to as many people as possible. Give it a thumbs up and also leave a comment if this prediction came true for you. Next up, we have Libra Ascendants or Libra Moon sign. For Libra folks, Saturn has been in the 5th house in Purvabhadrapada nakshatra. And you've been stressing out, working hard to gain progress in life, to gain momentum and recognition in your area of work. Whatever that might be. It could be your work, it could be your hobby or vocation, and you've seen less success there. Now Saturn retrograde in the 5th is going to help you reevaluate your strategy in your creative sphere. But Saturn is also your Yoga Karaka planet, and retrograde will bring some relief in your creative work, especially because it's in Jupiter's nakshatra, guys. So you will find an easier way to do whatever you've been doing. So new tools, fresh ideas, and new mindset. All of these are going to make your process much more relaxed. Saturn is poised to bring about gains in creative work, transformation to your children through gain of education, but also work in simultaneously some relief in the 4th house, that is domestic life, parenting, and taking care of mother, in construction, in maintaining your landed property, your residence. All of these areas I just mentioned is going to see transformation in terms of the efforts and the work that you need to put in. This could also indicate a phase of transition from one role to another in terms of domestic life. You may have been a bachelor and now you find yourself as a married man taking on more responsibility. You may have been a married person for some time now and suddenly it's childbirth and there's more responsibility. Or you're now sending your child to school and it's a new area of work that's begun for you, so on and so forth. You may have to work on all these. They are your area of responsibility, but at the same time, you would not be struggling to achieve all this work. There could be some relief in the process, like you find more time in your hands because your child is now at school. It could mean that somebody is doing that job of taking care of your property or vehicle for you, or you're about to find a way to get that job done. You're finding a way to delegate tasks. Maybe your mother is moving away from you to a place where she would be taken care of, and there's one less issue of responsibility to worry about. Although this makes you emotional, remember Saturn's gaze along with Jupiter's 9th aspect on the 4th could bring about a dharmic disposition, almost transformative in the life of your mother. It's only good for her, guys. But mostly, consider this as the beginning of a spiritual journey, and she's going to come back with renewed energy. If you've been chanting mantras for some time now, it's time to see fruition of those mantras. If you haven't been chanting anything or missing out on some mantras, Saturn will now help you to go back and restart your religious practices. A time where some of you may also be initiated into new mantras, into new sadhanas, new philosophies and worldview. Saturn in Jupiter's nakshatra is going to give you new insights through ancient texts, and the knowledge you gain now is almost going to be transcendental in nature. You might even change gurus or teachers. Someone may walk into your life. Some new guru may walk into your life. And you're going to thank the stars for this. And this is only the beginning. For those Librans who have been experiencing mental stress or low willpower, this is like the perfect opportunity for you guys to work on these areas. If you're dealing with memory issues in your 30s or 40s, it's time to identify what's causing this weakness. Chances are you'll find a solution to these problems. With Saturn aspecting the 7th house, you will find it easier to put in the right efforts to forge new bonds and connections with those around you. Your spouse or partner will experience relief from mental stress and pressure. Good times are ahead for couples. However, single Librans may start rethinking the amount of effort needed to secure a relationship, especially if Saturn is returning to its original position in your natal chart. This is also a time when you might start considering what to do with those idle funds and possibly begin investing instead of letting them sit idle. You may feel more carefree with your savings. However, be cautious because Saturn will bring negative results if you invest in risky ventures or engage in trading. On the bright side, you will gain new knowledge on where and what to invest in. So keep an eye out for smart investment opportunities. All things considered, Librans are set to experience positive changes in personal finance and some shifts in their domestic life. And whatever you do, avoid being harsh with your partner and those around you, as repairing those relationships uh, may take a long time to restore to their original state. And that's all I've got for Librans. If you're new to my channel, please subscribe below. Help this video reach out to your friends and family. Give it a thumbs up and also leave a comment if this prediction works for you. Next up, we have Scorpio Ascendants or Scorpio Moon sign. For Scorpio folks, Saturn placed in the 4th house in the Purvabhadrapada nakshatra now goes retrograde. 4th is your mother, 4th is your convenience, your luxury. 4th is landed properties and vehicles, your domestic life. And Saturn here may have put all of these areas in a new path, which may have left you stressful. Every effort you take may have had a counter effect that nullified your chances of improving your domestic life. But now, when Saturn goes retrograde, he is reassessing your strategy in dealing with some of those pesky details with regards to your family life. This is a time where Saturn wants you to pay attention to resolving past issues with family members, especially your siblings. It's aspecting the third through its Vakradrishti. You may not like confrontation, but you will have to deal with them now. 4th is your mind, so there may be a sense of restlessness at this time. But Saturn is giving you that agitation because he wants you to reflect on your inner needs and emotional security. And once you've identified those areas, you will definitely be on the road to emotional freedom. Saturn, in fact, wants to give you that. So the biggest responsibility for you during this transit becomes your own self, your health, your well-being. You will likely address the areas where you've neglected self-care. In the past, you might have gotten soaked in the rain, but now you want to buy that raincoat. It's small details like these that you'll start paying attention to. Saturn will also provide relief through ancient knowledge and wisdom of your forefathers. You will now know what gave them longevity, and you would want to follow in their footsteps to gain health and wellness, especially because Saturn looks at the 3rd house of habits, habit formation, or kicking back on some poor habits. Saturn, through its Vakradrishti, looking at the 3rd house of communication and your self-efforts, is also going to bring structure to your language. You may also be inclined to learn some of the oldest languages known to mankind. It could be Sanskrit, it could be Latin or Tamil. You may have struggled to know some of these texts in the past, but now new information and new definitions are becoming available to those who are into research work. For others, with Saturn aspecting the 3rd house, you might need to rethink your strategy for completing that college degree or university program. This aspect gives you the right time and opportunity to put in the right effort and bring out your best. 3rd is also short travels almost on a daily basis, and you might now learn ways to cut back on frequent travels in order to find time for your work and peace of mind. And what are those ways? Maybe you will find someone to do this job for you. Saturn is old things, and he's about doing things the old-fashioned way. Jupiter is now passing on the wisdom of ancient times. So Saturn now wants you to do things the old-fashioned way, which is to send a messenger or through written correspondence. And most importantly, localizing the activities. And in earlier times, ancient cultures often had very strict schedules and planning techniques to ensure that time was used efficiently, reducing the need for last minute or frequent trips. So Saturn is bringing structure and discipline with regards to your travel plans. With Saturn aspecting your 10th house from the 4th, get ready for a hefty workload. But fear not, you will be on the lookout for ways to streamline the process. On the bright side, Saturn might also bring a bit of independence at your workplace. In other words, no more bosses breathing down your neck all the time. Maybe you're getting that promotion or moving to a different role or even changing your workplace or your residence. Saturn aspecting the 6th from your 4th is now telling you that sometimes doing nothing at all is probably the best way to deal with strain and stress. You will have to learn a way to relax, and that this is a recurrent theme for most ascendants or moon signs during this transit. Saturn is asking you to relax and find a way to avoid overworking your muscles. For those going through acute or long-term problems, you might find the right diagnosis and intervention, and that may come to you through surgery. So don't hesitate to go for surgery if you need one, and do not postpone it. That's all for Scorpios. If you're new to my channel, please subscribe below. Help this video reach out to your friends and family. Give it a thumbs up, and also leave a comment if this prediction works for you. Next up, we have Sagittarius Ascendants or Sagittarius Moon sign. For Sagittarius folks, Saturn goes retrograde in the 3rd house of Purvabhadrapada Nakshatra in the Aquarius sign. So for Sagittarius people, there may have been communication issues with your siblings, with your neighbors, with your community, and you've been trying really hard to find a solution and bring about a transformation or at least a positive change in this area. You have exerted yourself significantly more than expected, attempting to foster a familial bond with them. And despite your efforts, you have not seen noticeable progress. So what should you do now? Saturn is prompting you to reassess your communication. He wants to reassess the way you speak. And now you may feel compelled to initiate conversations with your siblings or neighbors after a prolonged period of silence. The times are also favorable for reevaluating your skills and possibly taking up unfinished courses or learning new ones. You might revisit old hobbies or interests, and you may now be interested in learning ancient languages like Sanskrit or Latin. Your father may gain a lot of name, fame, and recognition during this time. He may also experience some relief in terms of health and begin to see positive changes in his well-being due to your intervention. Given Purvabhadrapada's influence, there could also be a time of intense spiritual or mystical insights for both you and your father, or you may be drawn to deeper philosophical or spiritual questions. On the other hand, you will be making every effort to support your family through difficult situations and help them save money during this time. You will find ways to provide financial assistance and ensure their stability, particularly if your parents are older. But there's going to be work and more work in your family life, in your domestic life. Saturn's aspect on the 9th house and also on your 12th will mean short trips or distant travels might face delays or require more careful planning. There may also be a need to reevaluate past travel plans. However, what is truly being impacted right now is your children's lives and your creative side. If you're trying to conceive, then you may not be able to see noticeable progress. In your creative side, you have plenty of ideas, but they feel scattered, and it's challenging to make progress with them. Saturn's influence generally means you need to be patient as things tend to go slow. However, while things may progress slowly, the results tend to be long-lasting and solid. So look at it as an opportunity to build a stronger foundation in these aspects of life, even if it requires facing some challenges and delays. And that's all I've got for Sagittarius, folks. If you're new to my channel, please subscribe below. Help this video reach out to your friends and family. Give it a thumbs up and also leave a comment if this prediction works for you. Next up, we have Capricorn Ascendants, or Capricorn Moon sign. So now for Capricorn folks, Saturn goes retrograde in the Purvabhadrapada nakshatra in the second house. For Capricorn moon sign, there's still a lingering feeling of depression or grief. And Saturn is now bringing its focus onto your mindset. And he's trying to make you more practical in your approach towards life. And quite possible that you might now look for a meaning to life's mysteries. Some of you are going to turn to astrology, while some others may turn towards metaphysics as a way to find relief because of Saturn's aspect on the 8th house. But whatever your problem, Saturn's on a mission to drag your attention back to the chaos of family life. So get ready for the joyride of having an extended family. Think family reunions where everyone's fighting for that last slice of pizza. So wisdom now tells you that you need to expand your family circle, and it's showing you the freedom of having an extended family. And it's possible that there may now be an addition to your family. If you're single, brace yourself for the matrimonial roller coaster. If you're already hitched, then get ready for the next level. Maybe it's time for parenting. And if you're already knee-deep in diapers, then congratulations, it's time to expand your brood or start taking bets on who's next to walk down the aisle. Come on, guys, I'm just trying to bring some life and entertainment amidst that tension and stress that you're going through. I know that Capricorns are going through a really difficult time, but trust me, it's nothing compared to Aquarius or Pisces right now. So don't worry, you will find your feet on the ground next year. So hang in there, guys. I was not planning on raining on your parade, but remember the motto of my channel is forewarned is forearmed. So buckle up for a slightly bumpy ride as we delve into the not so sunny side of things. Think of it as getting the heads up on the obstacles so you can do a little dance around them. After all, who doesn't love a good plot twist in their life story? So let's sprinkle some realism into our forecast and keep those armor upgrades ready. It's all about being prepared to laugh in the face of whatever comes, whatever curveballs the universe decides to throw our way. So Saturn aspects the first house of self. Saturn is limitation. Saturn is grief and suffering, and when it's looking at the first house through its Vakra Drishti, it's a constant reminder of your limitation in life. The grief and suffering that you must endure, and you're absolutely torn by the tough times that you have to go through. You are always working on a way to break free. So in the retrograde motion, it's time to realize your limitation. And once you do that, and I mean when you really accept your limitation, that is when you will begin to see the freedom and joy in your life. If you cannot do it, it's going to be tough for some more time before you find another way around to get a taste of the higher self through which you will realize that you are the limitless being. Pay more attention to your inner self and also your mother. She might now need your support more than anything else. And that's all I've got for Capricorn folks. If you're new to my channel, please subscribe below. Help this video reach out to your friends and family. Give it a thumbs up and also leave a comment if this prediction works for you. Next up, we have Aquarius Ascendants or Aquarius Moon sign. For Aquarius folks, Saturn in your first house or affecting your natal moon may have brought severe stress and strain. You're working hard. Some of you are spending sleepless nights waiting to see light at the end of the tunnel. And all of this is at the cost of your health and wellness. Saturn retrograde in the Purvabhadrapada nakshatra is now reevaluating, or should I say introspecting. I think that's the right word because first house is none other than the self, and here you can only look within. So it's a period where you try and examine your fears, your limitations, and your hidden aspects of the psyche. Saturn wants you to reevaluate the structures and foundations in your life, whether they pertain to your career, relationships, or your personal goals because of its aspect on all of these houses. So you're definitely going to see relief to body, mind, and your intelligence. And also get ready for a welcome break. because Saturn's influence on your 10th house means that career stress will ease and travels both near and far will feel more manageable thanks to its aspect on the 3rd and 12th houses. But don't get too comfortable. This is your chance to recharge before diving back in with renewed vigor and focus. Post retrograde, you will know exactly where to direct your energy, making your life more intense and purposeful. So embrace this retrograde period to relax and rejuvenate. You're going to need it. The transformative energy of Purvabhadrapada combined with Saturn's disciplinarian influence will encourage spiritual growth. This is a great time for meditation, for introspection, and spiritual practices, especially because Saturn's Vakra Drishti is now on the 12th house. You would love being left alone and you want to spend time with yourself more than anything. For moon signs, you might experience some emotional turbulence as hidden fears and anxieties tend to resurface at this time. This is an opportunity to confront and heal those emotions. Understand that retrogrades are a time for quick and deliberate action. So use this opportunity to gain strength and embrace the transformative powers of this nakshatra. Patience is the key theme. Practice patience. Welcome the changes and growth that come with this period, knowing that they are paving the way for a stronger and more authentic you. Now let's look at the relationship aspects as well. The 7th house governs relationships, partnerships, and marriage. Saturn's retrograde aspect may bring a period of introspection and reevaluation in these areas. Your present relationship might face challenges requiring both patience as well as commitment to overcome. It can also lead to a deepening of bonds if you handle them with maturity and understanding. For those doing business, partnerships might come under scrutiny. It's a time to reassess the terms and dynamics of these partnerships. There could be delays or obstacles in business dealings, but this also represents an opportunity to solidify foundations and rectify any imbalances. Saturn retrograde typically brings lessons and challenges in this context of the 7th house. These lessons will likely pertain to cooperation. It will pertain to compromise, the give and take required in partnerships. And that's going to provide relief to your spouse, and your spouse or partner is going to mellow down at this time. It's a period for facing and resolving long-standing issues. Why do I say that? Because the Purvabhadrapada nakshatra is associated with transformation, spirituality, and also the extreme side of life. Saturn retrograding in this nakshatra suggests a transformative period for relationships where deep-seated issues come to the surface for healing and resolution. For single Aquarius folks, Saturn's retrograde often calls for looking inward. You may find yourself reflecting on your approach to relationship and how you should balance personal needs with the needs of others. This introspection can lead to personal growth and a better understanding of your own relationship patterns. Especially if you're going through Saturn return, this is the time to rethink about what exactly you want in life with regards to being in a relationship with someone. For those facing litigation or marital problems, this may actually be a time to mend or break, meaning if things don't get to work out despite the compromise, despite the give and take, then for some of you, you may now feel that the struggle is not worth it and maybe accept the difference and let go, forgive and move on, as the time encourages you to have a more spiritual and philosophical approach to relationships. So if that is the case, then take time to heal and build tolerance. Saturn's retrograde motion tests patience and endurance. There may be delays and frustrations, but these are meant to build resilience, and fortitude. And I'm just putting it the most mild way possible. But for moon sign, you guys need to wait for some more time before you actually find some relief to the stress level that you're going through. That's all for Aquarius, folks. If you're new to my channel, please subscribe below. Help this video reach out to your family and your friends. Give it a thumbs up and also leave a comment if this prediction works for you. Finally, we have Pisces Ascendants or Pisces Moon sign. For Pisces individuals, your Sari Sati, a 7.5 year period of Saturn's intense influence, has just begun. And it is now retrograding in the Purvabhadrapada nakshatra in the 12th house. And this period offers a valuable chance for emotional healing, particularly through spirituality. You may start to accept that there is little anyone can do about the uncertainties of life. Life is challenging and complaining won't help. You can only strive to find solutions, but there are limits to what you can achieve. It's definitely a time to reassess your limitations and your spiritual progress. Meditation, introspection, and self-awareness are all key themes for Pisces folks during this transit, especially if your moon sign is in Pisces. But there's a possibility that some of you are upset with the slow progress, and now Saturn is showing the reality of why you may not have achieved what you have set out to achieve. Saturn in the 12th may now be giving you subconscious fears and possibly even nightmares, strange dreams. But in the middle of all that chaos, life goes on. Something may have happened in the past which has actually made you disinterested in spirituality, probably because it hasn't offered you a practical solution to life's problems. But remember, the goal of spirituality is to make you thrive in the middle of those challenges. It's not to solve problems, but to make you accept the dualities of life. It's not about changing the nature of things. Sometimes spirituality is about knowing that there is no duality. Actually, that is the real spirituality. That is the real goal of spirituality. Saturn now wants you to give spirituality a second chance. Relook at aspects you've missed and restart your spiritual journey by building your philosophy on more firmer grounds. It's giving you the necessary relief and also the push to reestablish yourself in spiritual sciences. Saturn aspecting the 11th house of your social circle and also your income may now push you out of your comfort zone. You want to now reestablish yourself in your social sphere. You may now be able to find an easy way to connect with a lot of people without hassles. You probably wanted more of a social life or getting to know as many people as possible, and Saturn now is helping you to gain more contacts. They will come to you, contact you. You will be known in your circle of friends or at your workplace. But along with all the recognition and socializing, there's work involved in maintaining that. So you're helping people at work, going that extra mile to provide some assistance and make their lives easier. Additionally, Rahu now occupies your Lagna, and Mars was previously in your second house. At least now, Mars is moving away from Saturn's gaze, which brings some relief, especially if you've been experiencing eye-related issues. However, your overall health and well-being still require attention. And with proper care, there's a good chance of slowing the progress of and possibly even reversing very difficult diseases. That's one positive aspect. Another is that Saturn is now helping you slow down your expenses. You will be pleased to know you can cut back on costs wherever possible and save money, although not significantly. You will still need to put in extra effort to save, even while being frugal. This is due to Saturn's third aspect on the second house. Frugal decisions will help with your everyday expenses. So remember, this does not mean you will not spend money. There will still be expenses, but you will find value in your spending and make wiser financial decisions because Saturn is in Jupiter's nakshatra. And this transit calls for patience, discipline, you need to have proper planning to overcome obstacles, especially in the areas influenced by the ninth house. So engage in regular spiritual practices, seek guidance from mentors with patience, and be prepared for possible delays in travel or education. And that's all I've got for Pisces, folks. If you're new to my channel, please subscribe below. Help this video reach out to your friends and family. Give it a thumbs up and also leave a comment if this prediction works for you. So that's all I've got with the Saturn transit video. It's me, VGS, signing off. I'll see you all again with another new video very soon.